Hi, and welcome to another episode of Starship Gaming. Today, before we get started, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps out. It helps the channel grow. It helps keep us motivated to keep making more awesome videos. And of course, don't forget to hit the bell if you want notifications of when we make more awesome videos. And don't forget to stick around to the end of the video for a question. So let's jump right into today's topic. So, today is Valentine's Day, so happy Valentine's Day to everyone out there. Of course, if you've noticed, I took a day off. I've been gathering research as well as playing some games that we may talk about in a future episode. Of course, these games are PC games. And at the end of this video, I'm going to ask you a question of which one you would like to see me which one of these PC games you'd like me to talk about in an episode. So, stick around for that. I really need your opinions. So, today we're going to talk about, or actually I'm going to bring it up. I'm going to tell you all of the games that are currently known as of this recording, February 2020, and I'm just going to name them off and tell you some of the games that will be coming to the Intellivision Amico. So let me bring that list out here. So here's the the list as of right now. There will be more, but here's the list as it stands right now of games that will be releasing for the Intellivision Amico. The first one is 10-Yard Fight. I don't know how to pronounce this. Archon, I guess it's how it's pronounced. Asteroids, Armor Battle, Astro Smash, Auto Racing, B-17 Bomber, which that was one of the original games that was released on the Intellivision Amico, which that was actually a pretty fun game. Baseball, Backtalk Party, Bad Dudes, which I love me some Bad Dudes. Beauty and the Beast, Biplanes, Bocce, Bowling, Boxing, Breakout, which of course Breakout is a classic. I mean, who doesn't love Breakout? Burger Time, which is another classic. Love Burger Time. Kind of off topic. They just Arcade 1-Up, which I'll do a video on them soon. I kind of have a love-hate relationship with their products, but Arcade 1-Up just recently released a Burger Time cabinet, which I think that's pretty awesome. Caveman Ninja, which that sounds kind of interesting. I actually might pick that one up. Cornhole, yeah, it's cornhole. Cloudy Mountain Crown of Kings. Not sure what that one's about, but it sounds interesting. Cosmic Arc, which that one is actually, I believe, a game that came out. Actually, I think, if I'm correct, I think it might have been a game that iMagic released back in '83, I believe. It was one of the unofficially licensed games, so that may be, but let's keep going. Darts, who doesn't love darts? Demon Attack, which that definitely was an older game. I do remember that one. Actually, I think that one was released for Atari, for the Atari 2600. Dracula, Dragonfire. Now, Dragonfire definitely was released by iMagic, so I think there's a few iMagic games that they've had to, like, somebody out there owns the rights to them. They've had to have gotten the rights to these. iMagic made games for, unofficial games for the Atari and the ColecoVision and the Intellivision. They did a lot of unlicensed games. So I'm starting to see those here, and I believe that one was actually a pretty decent game. I played it the Atari version, so or the Atari 2600 version, so that was a pretty decent game. Earthworm Jim 4, of course, we talked about that in the past video. Really excited for that. And another one, Echo the Dolphin. Echo the Dolphin. I don't know if this is like I believe from what I heard, it's a remaster of the original. And I'm really excited for that. Huge Echo the Dolphin fan. I always thought that it was such a unique game when I played it on the Sega Genesis back in the day, because there were no other games that existed where you played as a dolphin or a fish for that matter. So that I thought that was really unique. Well, let's keep going here. Farkle, football, frog bog. Not sure what that's about, but I'm pretty sure it sounds kind of froggy to me. Oh, and then of course one of my personal favorites, and if you ask my father, one of his personal favorites, Frogger, of course. Frogger is my dad, true story, going into story mode for a moment. My father has been obsessed with Frogger for the better half of 35 years. He has in his personal office, he has both a PlayStation 1 and a Sega Genesis and an Atari 2600. And I kid you not, they're hooked up to 3 separate televisions. One's a console television, and the other 2 are just like, 90s style televisions. Anyway, he is so obsessed with Frogger that's all that he sits in his office and plays in his downtime. Like, he'll play the PS1 version some days, the Atari version other days, and then the Sega Genesis version, which the Sega Genesis version is just more or less a port of the arcade version. Of course, it came out late in the life of the Sega Genesis. In fact, it came out so late, it was the very last game, I believe, for the Sega Genesis, as well as the Super Nintendo. So, just a little interesting side story there. And of course, he always said that if Arcade 1-Up ever did release a Frogger cabinet, that he would, of course, buy one. And I always joke with him all the time. I tell him he's about as obsessed with Frogger as George Costanza was in that one episode of Seinfeld. So let's jump right back in. Horse racing, ice track, Kung Fu Master, Lock and Chase, which Lock and Chase, I do remember that one for the Atari 2600. I believe there was an Intellivision version. I'm pretty sure there was. Load Runner, which Load Runner was a really fun game. I remember playing that one for the original Nintendo. Math Fun. I mean, no matter how much you try to make math fun, math is not fun. But in this case, it may be, so we don't know. Microsurgeon, which that one I'm pretty curious about. I'm really wondering what it'll be about. Miner 2049er. That sounds pretty interesting. It truly does. Missile Command, one of my personal favorites. I really love Missile Command. I actually have a Missile Command arcade cabinet at my shop. It's not on display to play for anyone to play. It's more or less in my personal office in the very back. So I haven't turned it on in a while, but occasionally I'll plug it in and play it, and But yeah, Missile Command, one of my personal favorite arcade games. Moon Patrol, the Milky Way Galaxy Chronicles. Well, I misread that. The Milky Way Chronicles. Yeah, I added Galaxy in there. I just thought it made sense. Moon Patrol, of course, that's a classic game, originally for the Atari 2600, the original game at least. Moto Race USA. Night Stalker. Pong. Pong, of course, is one of the very first video games to get people interested in video games back in the early 70s. Safecracker. Shark. Yeah, which is also a good thing to yell if you want to, clear a line at Walmart, is yell shark. You'll either get some really confused people, or you'll get a Karen that just is really confused and thinks that there's a shark actually flopping around the store about to devour her and her purse dog, or her chihuahua. shuffleboard, skiing, snafu, soccer, spelunker, Texas Hold'em, which I love me some Texas Hold'em. Tron Deadly Discs. That was actually a game that came out originally on both the Intellivision and the Atari 2600 back in, I believe, 1982 or 82. So I don't know if this is going to be an update. I'm pretty sure it will be, and that they are working with Disney to, get the rights and whatnot. Tropical Angel and Utopia. Finally, we're through the list. Okay, well, that is some of the games that are currently in the works to be released on the Intellivision Amico. I tried to make it interesting. It is a list. There's no other way you can make a list interesting. So that was a really long-winded list. But a lot of those games I'm really excited for. I really do want to play quite a few of them. I'd like if they released both the enhanced versions and the original versions, both for purchase, because I'd like to have both versions to play, or if you download one, you get the other. Like, for example, Tron Deadly Discs, if you download like the the remade version, the new updated version, I would also like to have the original version thrown in as a little added bonus. I mean, unless they wanted to sell these games, super cheap for download, like 99 cents or $1.99 or something for the original versions, which honestly, from a marketing standpoint, it's a good idea, but if you want to be good to your fans, you need to just throw them in with the enhanced remade versions. But that's just my personal opinion. Of course, there are a lot more games out there that are going to be announced as time goes by. A lot of those games right now are set to be released between 2020, which it launches in October, the Intellivision Amico, between 2020 and 2021, and some into 2022, but probably most of them in 2021. So tell me in the comments down below, what do you think about these games? Are these a good start, or do you think they're lacking, or what, whatever? And tell me, what's one of the games that you're excited for? Now, if you stuck around to the end, I have another question for you. And this is for, some videos that we'll be covering in the near future. Of course, in the last video, I asked if you wanted me to talk about the Atari VCS or the Xbox Series X. Of course, I'd like to announce after this video, I have 2 Atari VCS videos that will be on the way, and then I'm going to do a video about the new Evercade, which, I'm going to talk about it in a video. But after that, I'm going to actually talk about some PC games that I've been playing, and I need your help and your opinion to tell me which one I should cover in an episode. So here's the options. So, like I said at the beginning, I've been playing like PC games lately. So would you rather, in a future video, me talk about DQ Tycoon, which is a PC game, it stands for Dairy Queen Tycoon, or would you rather I talk about the PC game Knights and Merchants, which is a game originally from 1998, and they released some more content around 2001, shortly before the XP era. And if you're wondering, I've been peddling around a little bit with the Windows XP and some of the games, so we may start talking more about some old school PC stuff, mostly Windows 98 and XP era. So, let me know in the comments down below. I really appreciate your input. I listen to everybody, and I respect your opinions. I read all your comments. Most YouTubers don't, but I read every single one of your comments, and I love your opinions. Opinions are the best thing that I like about this whole experience. So we will return this Sunday. Sunday and Monday we're going to have 2 videos on the Atari VCS, And then Tuesday, hopefully Tuesday, coming up as of this recording, we are going to talk about the Evercade. And then, of course, Wednesday or Thursday, whenever we get around to it, we are going to talk about, one of the things that you picked, if it's going to be DQ Tycoon or Merchants and Knights.